Just because you make shit up doesn't mean it's real.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It usually means that you need to be locked the fuck up. That's what it means. It means you need to be put into a hospital somewhere because you've created a reality that exists inside your own head.
Right.
And now what they've done is they're sharing it with others. And there used to be a time when people would be taken away and be psychiatrically evaluated.
Dystopia tonight. Dystopia tonight.
Hey, hello. My head is not high enough. I know it's supposed to be higher. It's supposed to be an inch and a half. Fucking unbelievable when those rules started. It is. It drives me nuts. How do you better lower the thing down?
I know, man.
It over from where I usually use it, and it's my head is right, but then I didn't really spend the proper amount of time, so I hate to disappoint you with my.
Oh no,
With the high head thing, and also it's great to see somebody forget stuff. I'm always happy because I've forgotten everything.
Yeah. It's really bad. It's like, I don't know what it is, but like it's always in the moment I need it the most.
Yeah.
I could go all day talking about it, saying the same thing over and over again, and then boom, time to shine. It's fucking done.
Well, I will tell you what my shrink told me, which was that due to the pandemic, we've lost upwards of 20% of our memory.
Oh, holy shit.
Wow.
Wow. Is it just stress?
It's that, and also not, you don't use your brain, you're not in the public square. You're not using it in the way that you were used to kind of remembering stuff. Plus, the phone didn't help. You put your brain in your pocket next to your nuts. That's always smart. It's a good move.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, man. I'm forgetting. I'm only 36, but I'm forgetting like faces and people that I should know, like in show business or like acting stuff. It's like I'll see them in a TV or in a movie, or somebody will literally ask me who they are, and I'm like, oh, that's what the, and they're like, you're a little too young for this, and I'm like, I got nothing.
I know it's really that really makes me happy.
Yeah.
I seriously, because I forget who we were trying to remember, and we sit there doing it,
Yeah.
And it's not just, it's a spectrum of people my age to younger, and we're just going in there. It's like it's Jeopardy gone bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you do that thing when you're around people and somebody can't figure something out and somebody goes to reach for the phone and you're like, no, we're going to do this as a team.
We're going to figure it out. Or sometimes it's like, no, we're not. It's impossible. Okay. We're not going through the alphabet.
Right. It's funny you were talking about the head height thing, man. It's like the weirdest shit people will pick up on. I'll do an entire show. I'll have an awesome guest on. It'll be great conversation. Or somebody will be like, your headset was tied in a knot. You should really. And I'm like, fuck you. I know. Yeah. That's what's bothering you. Like, really? I got to pay attention to that shit.
Well, you know that there's a guy. The only reason I mentioned this head thing, and then of course now I'm wondering if I should open this button. This is like there's a guy who rates your background.
Really?
Yeah.
I just saw it once, and I never went back and because it was so enraged. It made me enraged. But he rates backgrounds. It's like, really?
Are you amazed at what people can make money doing at this point, like especially during the pandemic? Because I feel like I haven't been doing enough to raise money for myself, and people are like rating background. Like whenever they do shit like that, I'm like, what am I, stupid? How did I not think of that?
Yeah, because really, that's what you want to spend your day doing. That's really it. That's that and teaching people how to fold a napkin.
Yeah. You know what amazed me right in the beginning of the pandemic is how many comedians immediately started an OnlyFans. And I was just like, they were like, hey, check out my OnlyFans. And I'm like, you you had that ready to go a little too quick.
Yeah, really. No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like,
and then Zoom, and then all of a sudden there was Zoom. You know, what was that? It didn't exist, and then all of a sudden,
yes,
there's that.
Everywhere.
Yeah, that was weird as shit too. Did you do any of the Zoom stuff, or did you just kind of chill out?
No, I did it with friends. I mean, I talked to friends and stuff,
right,
but that was about it. And we had a poker game that which was great because one of our friends' kids came up with a way to play. So we had a board. You know, we basically had, you know, you'd get your cards, you had your cash, everything, and we were able to, and then see one side would be the board, you know, would be the cards, and the other side would be the you'd see everybody. So it was great.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And we did that for about a year. That was really a sanity factor.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
but I didn't do Zoom comedy or that. Fuck that. No.
Yeah. No, I did a couple of those shows. Tom can attest to it. One time I did one accidentally because I wasn't paying attention to the fucking gig, and I thought it was just going to be a talking, like, you know, because it was some charity event and some guy got it to have his, you know, I guess favorite comics in the room or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And Tom was like, hey, you getting ready to do a set in 10 minutes? I was like, no.
Like polish up.
Yeah, exactly. And then he was like, no, it's a stand-up thing. And I was like, fuck. God damn it. And then I just complained about it for a fucking hour.
I bet. It's hard. I mean, I couldn't do it. I just I needed an audience. I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, that made no sense to me. I just and I don't really like. I don't like looking at people in square. I mean, it just is madness.
It is.
I mean, the guys did it. I mean, and I guess they found a certain amount of comfort in it. I don't work that way.
No.
And I need to. I mean, I don't write my stuff. I think about it, and I take notes, and then I talk. And then if I'm working, then if the way I was, you know, I would night after night would rewrite. I write on stage, so you don't write on Zoom.
Right.
I need the immediacy. I need to have that interaction with the audience. And Zoom is not an interaction.
Yeah, no, it was because also you're like, you know, you don't know where to look half the time, and if people don't have their stuff on, you do wind up just looking at yourself at a certain point for connection, and I feel like that's sick. Like it's some kind of weird narcissistic. Because I'm like, hey, you know, like it's upsetting after a while.
Yeah.
Like I think I just talked to myself for an hour. That was fucking weird. Do that on my own. Yeah. Were you were still on tour when this hit, right? Like you had to like bail out of gigs, didn't you?
Yeah, I was March. I think it was March 13th or 14th was the last gig.
Yeah.
And it may have been the 13th and the 14th. We were supposed to play somewhere else. We were in a casino in Michigan, and that became the last gig. We were supposed to go to another. They canceled the next night.
Wow.
And the night we were playing in Michigan, they were going to cancel that night.
Right.
And we went, and then they decided it was literally on the line, and that was that.
Wow.
And then we packed up and went home.
That's crazy. Yeah, it was around the same time. It was scary because I was coming through like the Midwest. I think I was in LA maybe before that, but coming through the Midwest, and then was working my way back to New York, got to New York. And then the day after like the last show I did, everything shut down. And they were like, hey, by the way, if you're in New York, you probably have it. And I was like, okay. And I had like just seen Friends the night before. They called me and they were like, do you have it? And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea how any of this works. But yeah, it was super fucking weird. And now I feel like we're heading right back into it, and it's like there's no consequences for these fucking people.
No, it's really I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand, you know. And then I wish I mean, I'm hoping this whole concept that if the FDA approves it, that there are people who are going to do it. That's I mean, I hope that's true. And if it is, I wish they would just do it. I mean, I just hope it happens quickly. But it's, to me, if you're putting out, I mean, to put out, to me, if you're putting out disinformation about health,
yes,
yes,
I just think how is that not? I just don't understand how that's not some sort of criminal action.
I know. I completely agree.
I don't get it. I mean, I can understand a lot of other kind of there are arguments for all sorts of other things, but to say whatever some of the stuff, like you won't be able to get pregnant. That was one. I mean, I get a bunch of stuff through these rantcasts. I do these rants.
Yes,
I read people's rants.
They're amazing.
Well, thank you, and they're amazing, and some of the stuff that that their families tell them. I mean, I don't really deal with people. A lot of people like that. There's nobody. I don't see a lot of it unless I catch it on social media and stuff, and you kind of go, well, really, and then you've got people who are saying these things of the metal, how come metal sticks to me? I mean, you just kind of go, or that they're downloading, they're tracking me. I mean, it's just like I told you, I had a bit 15 years ago when you had your phone, you idiot, and they were tracking you. What?
Yeah.
And that didn't bother you. That didn't bother you.
Yeah, the list of shit that they're willing to accept and not get upset about, like over the years, and then this somehow is the tipping point when the rest of us are dying, is insane to me.
Yeah, and then this, I got a whole bunch from one guy finally, because I've asked. I'll say, if you really are passionate from the other side, send it in. If you really like the former leader, I need to know what it was you liked, and I need an explanation, and what it was that. How he empowered you? What did he give to you that I'm missing? And and I got this. I rarely get stuff like that, and then all of a sudden I got one guy sent 10 in, 10 separate rants, and they were. And I kind of was reading the last one. It was kind of okay, maybe marginally okay. I could read this. I went back to the first one. And the first one started by the third sentence. He said that he had, that the new president who was, who was basically I can't remember if he said that he had stolen the election, but what was worse was the new president, a known pedophile.
Oh my God.
And I just have to go, no, I'm not going to. Football game's over.
Yeah.
We're not reading this. You just undermined everything you said. You just because you. I mean, I've said it for a long time in my act, but I didn't realize we would get to this point. Just because you make shit up doesn't mean it's real.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It usually means that you need to be locked the fuck up. That's what it means. It means you need to be put into a hospital somewhere because you've created a reality that exists inside your own head.
Right.
And now what they've done is they're sharing it with others. And there used to be a time when people would be taken away and be psychiatrically evaluated.
Right.
And they do need to be. I mean, if you've reached a point where you've driven somebody into a pizza parlor that doesn't have a basement,
right,
to look for pedophiles. I mean, and meanwhile, there's a ton of pedophiles out there. You fucking asshole.
Yes.
If you're so obsessed with pedophiles, go find them.
Yeah.
They're there.
I feel like I'm locked into a relationship with Republicans that I didn't ask to be in because they constantly gaslight, right? I mean, and I hate overusing that term, but they really do, because when you talk about like the pedophile ring that they kept preaching for years, and then you got Matt Gaetz, you got that other guy that just Anton something or whatever that's in the Republican Party, all of them fucking pedophiles.
Ron Johnson.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not really a pedophile. He's just another,
right.
He's just, they were just tourists.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one that just came to the White House. They were tourists.
Right.
You got a video, you fuck. I mean, it used to be when we do the daily and you'd go, when the first discovery of like the very first joke being, this is what they said today. I forget when it was. This is years ago. This is what they said today. But this is actually what they said 6 days ago. So they denied it, but 6 days ago they said it. And we went, and that was the first, we have it on tape.
Yeah.
And now it is, now they really are, the denial of reality is on a level not since I took acid have I seen people deny reality on this level. Except me and my friends sitting around, trying to fend off imaginary snakes.
I always think like if you took like 2021 logic right now over this pandemic and applied it to like anytime anybody, like, I don't know if I think this is based in reality, or it could be Disney just seeping into my brain, right? But wasn't there there was that movie where like a guy took a sled team, right, to get vaccines to bring back to the kids needed or something like that, right?
I think so. I was, I don't know. It certainly sounds like a Disney movie. If not, you should pitch it. I think you have been working.
Yeah, who knows this whole time? But I'm just like, could you imagine like somebody going like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna risk my life. I'm gonna take these sled dogs. I'm gonna get the vaccine to these kids, and then he comes back and they're all kind of back in school, and half of them are dead. And he's like, the fuck happened? And they're like, some guy was out in the streets screaming about freedom, pounding on doors, calling us pussies. So we just sent the kids back. He's like, I lost 3 dogs. My dick is frozen. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's insane. Oh God, I can't take it, man. It's just, and I don't understand the like you said, like the level of disinformation that's allowed to be put out. Like, what do you think of this shit? You know what it is? It's conflation, I think, of like political argument with a blanket of medical and science shit like draped over it, because it's like I keep hearing arguments about tyranny and like segregation with these passports, or like the government's never going to give up the power and all that shit. We're in a public health situation. I don't understand what we're supposed to do.
Well, I mean, it started with what I really find spectacular is you don't trust government.
Yeah,
that's the lead on this. These people didn't trust government. I understand that, partly because they never went to Washington D.C. and walked around, and so to them it's a separate entity. Right. I was born and raised there, so I have a different relationship to it. So I understand that. But what I don't understand, you don't trust that, right? You don't trust government. But you've picked this one guy you trust, and he's government, okay?
Right.
He's government, asshole.
Yeah,
he's not anti-government. He is the government.
Right.
So for you, who were basically anti-authoritarian, just like me, just like fucking me, and you turn your back on it, you fucking chicken shits. Yeah. You walked away from being really anti-authoritarian to hand it over to somebody. Fuck you.
Right. No, I completely agree, man. I can't rationalize with those people either. I don't understand how to talk to anybody anymore without getting into an argument. So I just try not.
But it really is. That was part of my audience, was with those people who were disenfranchised.
Right.
Yeah. And now they've become franchised with a guy who is essentially saying, I'm going to set you up in a fake McDonald's. I mean, it's just, and you drive by these homes, as I was wandering around, and there's, they don't have they now have plastic on their windows and a flag with his name on it.
Right.
And I just, and I don't have the courage, and I know, and it's why I never wanted to do the kind of show that Kamau did. Kamau Bell did. I mean, because they'll say to me, you should go talk to these people, and or interview them, and it's not something I might have at one time because it would have interested me, but to look at that house and to be able to walk up to that house and go, so you're way behind this guy. So you've got plastic on your windows, and you really like him. So what was the house like before? that he got you plastic for the windows.
Right.
That's the thing I don't understand. And I've said, that you go back to when it kind of started, which is really where the Republicans have been brilliant for a long time, and there still are real Republicans out there, and I really appreciate them, because they are really good at budgeting, which the Democrats have no sense of.
Right.
And so, but what they were good at was just being able to have people work against their own self-interest.
Yeah.
And they did that way before Schmuck showed up.
Yeah.
Way before he was on the scene. It was like, hey, you could have this, or we found a way that if you stuck your own dick up your ass, you could find a golden egg there. I could do that. I could stick my dick up my ass, and people would do it. And that was always impressive, because I thought, wow, if you really, if you're able to lead that well, why wouldn't you try to really, form a better union?
Right. Yeah, it got me frustrating because the whole thing, dude, because I wasn't like, Biden's not my ultimate choice. I don't know that it was anybody's leading up to it.
He was mine.
He was yours. Leading up to in the beginning?
From the very beginning, we needed somebody who was going to go, okay, here's how it runs. You needed a really dull civics teacher.
Yeah. He wasn't my. I was saying he wasn't my choice.
No, and I get it.
But now it seems like I find myself a little calmer, like you said, like he's got that way of speaking where he's just very matter of fact about what's going on. Don't agree with everything he's done, but that's what presidency, that's what it is. But I do like that he's not on fucking Twitter every goddamn day, and he comes out, says what he needs to. He just seems like he's a guy who's working. Like, almost the same way. Like, I always felt Obama was just doing a job. You know what I mean? This is my job. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in. I'm going to clock in. I'm going to do whatever I need to do. Didn't always agree with him either. Yeah. But, I like the idea of somebody who understands he's got a job to do and he's going to try to get it done.
Well, I mean, the one thing I needed was somebody who it was like morning announcements,
Right.
Today, okay, we're going to walk down the hallway and you're going to get a shot.
Right.
Because none of that was occurring. For all of them yakking that it was occurring, it wasn't occurring.
No.
And you needed somebody who could organize it, because government is really, when it's done right, is an instrument of organization. It's not an instrument of fascism. It's an instrument of organization and how we organize ourselves. It's about, we have to get online. No, you don't get to be in the front of the line because you made $20 gazillion last year, but we form a line and we go do what we have to get done. I just,
yeah.
And then that thing that, like one of the things about getting back on the road that I'm gonna is that, people were always bitching. Well, how come you didn't talk about Obama? When I started talking about, him, because he had been elected. I said, well, I don't have to talk about him anymore. And so that's great. So it's one less person I have to talk about. But now that party he held on Martha's Vineyard was about as dumb as a post. Really, thanks a lot. Thanks for putting the pictures out there so that all of the jackasses can see that and go, see?
Yep, I know. I've got no fucking sense.
I was shocked.
Yeah, me too. that is like the fucking. I'm like, you're sitting here trying to defend him. You're sitting here trying to make rational statements to people who are irrational, and fucking idiots limboing, with fucking Tom Hanks, and I'm just like, come on.
Somebody, he sideswiped us.
Morgan Freeman swinging at a pinata. I'm like, can we a little. A little disco, something, give us something. Do you think they're going to wind up doing a mandate? Because I hope they will, but I feel like we're just going to be dragged out by fucking morons back into society.
What do you mean mandate in terms of?
Vax passports. Like, do you think it's going to be a capitalism issue where we're going to have to like literally depend on businesses to do the right thing, or do you think the government's actually going to step in and go, "You have to do this"?
I think there'll be some state governments that'll step in, but I think mostly it'll be business, and business will do it because, it's involved money.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And that's the one thing that I thought would move these idiots.
Yep, same.
I thought that money would move them, even and we'll see.
Even in a direction that they supposedly quote unquote fear. We were just talking about it before backstage, but I had to cancel a show. I know you said you were canceling some too, but like literally, it was a week away. Somebody had sent me an article that I didn't know about. They didn't tell me about, but they had 30 plus COVID cases break out. And
in the club?
In the club. Yeah. And no response, no whatever. So I called and I talked to the manager there or whatever. And I was like, hey, you got these 30 plus COVID cases. Is that true? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, what kind of precautions are you taking? And they're like, we are going about it as business as usual until the state mandates something. And I'm like, so what you're telling me is like you're okay with giving your customers COVID. And then they hung up on me. And then I called back and I was like, you didn't answer my fucking question. I think we got disconnected. And then they were like, click. So I was like, now I'm canceling the fucking show. And then, I got a lot of I'm a communist, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, fuck you. I'm not doing it. I got people coming to see me. I got other comics I got to worry about. Why the fuck would I do that?
You're a communist.
I got a lot of those, man. I got a lot of stop being a fucking communist. Trying to tell people what they can and can't do. And I'm just like, get the fuck out.
What I do is when I get stuff that I find to be, off the charts, when they, especially with Twitter, which I've never really have liked. My friend Kathleen Madigan loves it, but she's very adept at it. And she calls it an Irish bar fight. So she doesn't mind. Really pretty good. It's a good description of it, and she's good at it. But what I found was the way in which I DM them, and I go, I don't think you got. That was a joke. I don't think you got the joke. I also think I'm tired of people assuming that they know what my politics are based on my jokes. You have no idea where I stand on certain things.
Right.
Because I believe A doesn't mean I believe B and C. Some of us have all sorts of attitudes about things. And then they go, wow, I can't believe you wrote me back. Some people do it to pull my chain.
Right.
And so, and I go, okay, that's acceptable. I get it. But, there's other, but really it doesn't help me because I can't, I'm not going to, if you've read my feed, I'm not going to respond. I don't go nuts. I rarely respond to much of anything on it.
I actually respect that. I do follow you and I do look at your feed, and sometimes I see the responses and I'm like, wow, he's not taking the bait of any of this. And I'm like, teach me, because I get sucked into that fucking shit sometimes. I've been pretty good about it.
To watch what what those who your fans, what they say. Because a lot of the times they do the job for you and you don't need to.
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah,
they're doing the job. They're the ones who are like, okay, you fuck.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with my guy, you fucking fuck. He's got other stuff to do. He's got a Disney movie.
Oh, that's fucking great. Are they doing a sequel to Inside Out?
No, I don't think so. Because that's the story of my life. There are no sequels. Because we did Accepted. I thought, that first off, it had terrible reviews, unbelievably,
which is insane. It was a great movie.
I know, but it was afterwards when it hit well. It went beyond it beat the critics, but then when it kind of really the release was over, it went ballistic. People really started watching it, and then and I thought, and then all of those people, all of the gang, Justin, his quote went up, Jonah's quote went up, Blake Lively became a super quote. So you had three major stars,
right,
and me. So my quote went sideways. I was saying, even if I didn't take a salary, we couldn't pay these people. So it was like, so we weren't going to make there was no sequel, and that would have been a great one to have a sequel.
Absolutely.
And then the Inside Out is that they may do it, but the thing is that they've got to figure out one problem they presented themselves with, and that is that what those as the child grows up and the child reaches puberty and turns that corner, do those voices in the head, are they still the same voices, or does my character transition to be a female voice? Does a female voice become a male voice? It's that kind of stuff. And I pointed that problem out to them, much to my likes, as I sat there going, why am I telling you this?
Exactly. The self-sabotage there. You're like, here's an idea. What if you left me out of it?
I said, just put me in another movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Just let me, just come up with something else with anger.
Yeah, seriously. I still love. I mean, I thought the accepted role that you had was like perfect for you. Like that was like the first time where I was really just like, oh, that's he I could see him doing that forever. That was brilliant. Yeah. Or at least as a series, for God's sake. Like,
well, we certainly tried, and that's always worked out. Me pitching series. We did a bunch of stuff. We did pitch a couple of things along that line, and now they're trying to pitch. Now they're bringing it back again.
Oh, they really are?
I mean, they're not accepted, but that character. Somebody just got in touch with me about doing a show where I would kind of play that.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
But we did, like, my friends who I know a lot of the guys I know are writers, and we had two different ones where we were, one where I played a college professor and who was working at the school, and it was really, there was that one. And then we did another one that was also really crazy. I can't this is one of the greatest lines ever spoken. After when your pitch is turned down, and it was, and I can't remember the series right now. But it was they said that it was too funny for FX, and this was before any of the guys showed up. Any of the others came on, and I went, wow, too funny. I've written a show that's too funny. How do you do that? I said, at least, come up with something, say it stinks.
Yeah. It's too funny.
Say, or say, it's too funny for us. Go to these guys. They really like funny things.
We're not interested in success here at FX. We've abandoned that principle. There's I got one time. I was pitching the show. They really liked it. We moved to with like 3 or 4 meetings about it, and then at the last meeting he goes, what this show really needs though, we need like a Will Smith to host it. And I was like, do you think I literally was like, do you think if I knew Will Smith I'd be talking to you? At that point I was like, that's such horse shit. I don't care what I say right now. And then he was like, well, I mean, you don't have to take that attitude about it. I was like, no,
but that's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, they do say, but we'll see, but that's really been, I would think we pitched on and off 12 pitches for series, and none of them.
Right.
I did one. We had a kind of before there was Crossfire. It was me and George Wallace.
Oh wow! Love George Wallace,
and he's great because he's a conservative, and so they put the two of us together on a CNN thing, and we did a couple of things. We did a couple of shots at it, and they, you know, nope, they didn't bite. I mean, it's one after another. It's been really kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I loved that show you had on Comedy Central where you were the judge and you had to have two. That was fucking genius because that's all comics do all day long is just argue points with each other.
Yeah.
And you at the center of that was fucking gold.
The root of all evil. And then what was great about that was that if you look at the cast, we had Andy Kindler, Patton Oswalt, Greg Giraldo, Paul F. Tompkins, Kathleen Madigan. There was me. I'm trying to think now. Of course, I'm blanking.
I think Jim Norton was on one.
Yeah, and so we had a really good. We had a hardcore, great. I mean, really, all of them exploded. Everybody, you know, exploded, but they all went. Certainly. Had really strong careers, and Greg sadly passed on. He was brilliant to work with, and so we did 2 seasons, and it got better, and then we finally figured out. You know, it took a while. We'd only done like I guess 16 shows or something like that. So we finally had figured out, as you do if you're doing a pilot and then you're working on a series. Oh, this is how we do this. This is the approach we should take. This will make it easy. Because I was constantly screaming. They had a writer's room, and I would go in. And once in a while, I'd go in and go, there's the reason that we have Andy Kindler is he knows how to write his shit. So we've had enough of, you know, let Andy go.
Right.
And let's move on. So
right.
You've got to trust the comic. Okay. One of the things that they have is you put them in front of an audience, they're going to go for the jugular. So stop this. It drove me nuts, right?
That's
the writer's room drove me crazy. But we kind of were working toward a really kind of a strong compromise and really more of just this is how we should work, you know, with the elements. We have really great writers, really good comics. And what do I do within the mix of that? And in Comedy Central, oh, this is so good. This is why this business has been such a joy. So they called up and said, we really want to give you a 3rd season, but we want it because they'd also put us on at a time period. I think they put it on. The 2nd season was on during the summer. Well, all of the people who were watching it were in school. Okay, so now they're not in school.
Right.
So that was why it was so successful. Now it's not successful. So we're kind of going. That's the reason.
Yeah.
So just give us the season. We'll do it just give us 1 season. We'll do it in the spring or the fall. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And they went, well, you know, could you really come in and pitch it again?
Jesus
Christ. I said, in the history of television, nobody has done a series twice and then been asked, you saw what it is.
Right. You already have 2 seasons worth of proof of concept. And they're like
2 guys I was with who one was worked on Bill Maher's show. One was the head guy at Bill Maher, Scott Carter, and
nice.
They said, you know, we should really, you know, do you want to do this? I said, if you guys want to go in there and pitch it, go ahead and pitch it. I'm not walking in that room because I will kill somebody.
Right.
So I'm not doing it because I wouldn't. They would give notes every day, and by the 3rd day of them giving just notes, on the phone, they'd have the phone, and these guys would listen. I would walk out. I said, "This is not any. They have nothing to tell us."
Right.
Please.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, they see that the comedians are doing what they're. That's the thing. How many times, like every show that's successful that has a comic in it, anytime it's written about, is always like, hey, you know, they gave him complete creative control, and surprise, surprise, the show's a hit, and the comic knows what he's doing, and then, but everybody still has to go through the same shit over and over again, and it's like, how are you not paying attention to what's going on at other networks that are crushing it with comedians?
Yeah,
it's insane. I loved when you were on because you always had that, you know, like able to work off the cuff, and you know, like you said, like you don't really write, you just go on stage and talk. But when you were on Tough Crowd, when I used to watch that when I was
that was fun.
You were so fucking great on that show, and you knew everybody too, so it felt like there was like the camaraderie there too. Anyway, you know.
Oh, it was great because they were all guys I'd worked with in clubs, and
right,
and it was really a chance to spend more time with like Bill Burr, who was really great.
Oh
and, it was just it was, and Greg was on that again.
Yeah, Greg Drawl was on that. Yeah, he was phenomenal.
Colin and Norton would show up. I mean, they were just they were what God, he passed another one that passed away. God, I can't think of his name.
Patrice O'Neill.
Patrice O'Neill, yeah.
Patrice,
yeah, Patrice. Yeah, phenomenal.
That's we would have been here. We could have done the next hour with me just sitting here. You guys could have fallen asleep, and I could have. And you feel terrible. He passed away. You go, he passed away.
Right. Yeah, no, that was fun. And you're like, oh, that
and then
guy.
You go, and in his memory, I can't remember him.
Which I feel like he would have appreciated. He would have been like, respect.
He would have gone, that was good.
Yeah. Yeah. You ever start talking about somebody?
I didn't expected that of you, Black.
Like, that's cold. That was cold, but all right. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I've done the same shit where like I'll talk about how somebody's influenced me or how much they mean to me, and then literally forget their. Like, oh, it's a great quote. Changed my whole life. It was. You're like, oh, that's awful. I've forgotten. We've been in this where I've been talking about somebody, and I'm like, oh yeah, we had, and I'll forget the guest that we had on the show like 2 days ago, and Tom's like, are you all right? I'm like, no.
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, they were all great. You know, it's crazy that I always wanted to. Now I'm just pitching things to you. I'm like, you know what you need? What I
Let me get it. Wait, give me a minute. I'll get a pen.
But I like I always wanted to see you behind the desk at the Daily Show or doing film or whatever. Like, did that something that interested you, or you did that enough in your stand up? You didn't want to do that kind of thing, like something a little different?
I wanted the least that the Daily Show could have done, and it was to after Craig Kilborn was ousted. I understood why they picked John.
Yeah,
but I'm on the show. I'm one of the first people to break out from the show.
Right.
So you don't have to pick me, but what you have to do is to just courtesy.
Oh.
Is have me audition.
They didn't have you audition?
No. So pretend. Let's pretend. Let's just pretend we're going to try Lewis. Nobody really wants Lewis. He's too over the top. But let's pretend. So then John leaves.
Yeah.
And then and Oliver takes over for a bit, and no one ever said about me. No one ever approached me. Wow. Not even to try. Wow. Not even one day. Just for grins. I mean, and considering the numbers I got. And I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just telling what people would say to me. And then finally, when they brought in Trevor, I go, okay, we're going to do this again. And I mean, what I would have done, I mean, I've certainly had I've had no problem with Trevor.
Right.
In some ways, Trevor writes really well for me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But Samantha, I thought the logical choice would have been Samantha.
Oh yes, and Sam B. Yeah,
that would have been the logical fucking choice.
Yes, yeah.
You're gonna go in house. Let's go in that direction.
Right.
And it would have been fun. And but so that would have been my choice. But let's audition Lewis, even though we're not going to hire him. We'll bring him in. We'll have some nice snacks. They never gave me a shot.
Wow, that's fucking bullshit.
All I wanted to do on the Daily Show, and I'm gonna probably I might pitch it again if I have the energy, if I can remember. Let me write this down. If you could call me or just send out a tweet.
I'll clip this.
Yes.
You talk, I'll clip it and then send it to you.
Good. because they're thinking of switching some stuff up. I don't know what's going to happen with the Daily, but I'm still kind of on air. I'm still on it, but and I really don't want to do it for long. But all I ever wanted, and I would mention it from time to time, but I never. It ended up as Back in Black. Oh. So this is what I pitched. My pitch was, why don't I on Fridays? Since we were only working Monday through Thursday, why don't I take because what I noticed was they were dropping at least 20 minutes of good jokes a week.
Wow.
About all of these topics. So hand them to me and I'll do Friday and I'll do the week in review and that'll be my job. Nice. And that's really all I ever wanted to do. I didn't want to do I thought that what John Oliver's done is a great idea. I think what Samantha's doing is a great idea. But all I ever really wanted to do, which is what I do which is kind of what I do in part while I'm on the road, is what happened the first 5, 6, 7 minutes of the show is like what's been happening.
Yeah.
So I mean, so that's really what I wanted to do. And that was the week in review. Here's, and it was kind of the way I started when I first started finding before I made the decision to become a comic. I would do it on the side of this club that we ran it as a theater, the West Bank Cafe, which is on 42nd between 9th and 10th. And we had a theater downstairs, and on Saturdays we would do a show. And all I did all week was something would be in the paper, and I'd rip it out and throw it in a pile.
Right.
And then I would go on stage with the pile of things that really irritated me that week, and I'd pick them up and read it and throw them on the ground. And
it's genius.
And that's the thing but I really wanted to work with like 3 or 4 writers, because they're writers. The one thing about the Daily Show that I've always felt, for all that they've touted everything and everyone and John and Trevor and but. It's the writers are really the heartbeat of that show. They were really there's some great writers who came through there and wrote some great stuff.
Right. Yeah, they were brilliant. I was talking,
including the guys, like Roy, who's on it now, and he's some of the anchors, or not the whatever the fucking the
correspondents. Yeah.
Because I don't know what they are, because I'm in a different category. I don't even know what the fuck I am.
Yeah, the guy on the street.
Yeah, guy on the street. Yeah, I'm gonna do it again. The tall the guy, one of the correspondents, had his own show for a bit and then came back, but he's been doing great pieces. He actually came.
Clapper.
Yes, Clapper. Yeah.
Okay, I get 3 points of the right to come back next week. To defend my title against somebody else who has no. It's be called Those Without Memories.
We're just gonna take a collection of people who've been on, or like, fucking, what's the hell? It's just gonna be a stream of that. Give me a letter.
A zoom of impatience. They're out there.
We're all stuck in boxes trying to remember our youth. That's good. Yeah, he came to my hometown in Toms River and did this great fucking piece on the Trump board, the what do you call the boat thing, the Armada, the Trump Armada, and I literally, I was like, hey, Toms River, and then I was like, oh, Jordan's there, can't be good for us. I was just like, oh no, and then it wasn't. Every idiot was out in a fucking boat doing their thing. I got to ask you a little bit about, so do you, I always ask people this that are on the show or whatever, just to kind of.
Before you do, I've got a question. There's a little buzz coming. Is that me?
I believe the buzz coming in.
Yeah.
I have no buzz. Okay? Yeah, we're good. I have no buzz.
So you're fine on your end.
Yeah.
Okay, because this is really gold. This is comic. I hate to lose this.
Yeah,
I've been made. This whole thing has made me psychotic. All of a sudden, do I have ticks on my body? I did. I kept hearing this buzz, and I don't know if it's from this fucking Yeti that I got. No, it's $125. And Kerry couldn't be. Boy, it's cheap. Yeah, that made me a reason. Okay.
I love it. There's a buzz, and Tom and I are like, I don't think I hear a buzz.
Okay, well, that's good. It could be on my end.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's called
Maybe I'm taking this is not happening, and I'm taking a hearing test.
It's just a COVID symptom. That'd be terrible if I was a COVID symptom. Like, yeah, you see this dude with too much hair, and sometimes the black shirt he wears makes him look like a floating head. It's fucking weird. No one knows why. No one knows why he appears. Jesus Christ. No, I was just gonna ask you if you remembered your first paid gig, because you were writing for a long time before you done stand up. So what was it? Do you have a first paid writing gig and a first paid stand up gig, or did they kind of mesh together?
Well, I wrote for theater, so so the first time I got paid, really paid, was probably the one that I remember. I came to New York with a one-act play that was done at Ensemble Studio Theater called Crossing the Crab Nebula, and it was had a phenomenal cast. It was in a festival that they had that was. I'm telling you this because otherwise you wouldn't know. It was a prestigious.
Right.
They had a one-act festival, and it was prestigious because one-acts aren't prestigious. But if you put 15 together, it creates a certain amount of steam. In the cast it was Terry Garr. I got
wow,
and Mark Lynn Baker.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah. And a guy named John Towie, who was an actor, a really fine actor out of Arena Stage in Washington. And for the play, after I'd gone to drama school, it was the first really professional production in New York City. I got $25.
Oh. Wow, nice.
Yeah, and
that's incredible.
I said, how much money have I got for the set? And they said, well, there is no money for the set. So I said, so the $25 paid for part of the set.
Oh my God, that's amazing. What an intro into show business.
Yeah.
I met, by the way, this is a dumb story, but I met Mark Lynn Baker, but I was young and I was coming out of an audition. He was in New York and I was too nervous to tell him I knew who he was. So I went up to him and I went, if I go down 38th and make a left, will I get the only thing? I walked all the way up to him and I was like, oh, I'll just ask directions.
That's funny. I'll let him know. I'm seeing him for dinner tonight.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
we've been good. We've been good friends for a long time.
Oh, good. Tell him he's not gonna remember. Tell him I'm an idiot who's. And it was funny because I thought when I figured he knew I knew, he was like, he wants to say something, and I was just like, this way and then a left, right? And he was like, yeah.
What would be even better is if he's like, oh yeah, 15 years ago, the guy that asked me for directions. Yeah. Totally remember him.
Yeah.
didn't know who the fuck I was, but
I didn't get the part.
Oh man, yeah, that's fucking great. I will listen. I've kept you for an hour. I don't want to keep you any longer unless you want to hang out. I
got about 5 more minutes, so let's.
Oh, great, fantastic.
Because I have to go work on my rant which is great. No, this has really been fun. I've really enjoyed it. I really have. It's been a pleasure.
Where could people listen to the Rantcast too? Let's let them know while they're here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can go. I've got a YouTube channel, and and that's which is essentially. I really do feel it's like it's really, for all they can scream about YouTube, to me, it's still 2 steps above public access. And, so look at this studio. This is where I shoot it from. If this isn't public access, I don't know what the fuck it is. So I got a YouTube channel. You can go there. If you go to my website, lewisblack.com, you can that'll send you to it. This is what I love. They told me to start doing these. So now I'm filming it by myself in my filming it here, like this. And so we'll do this, and that'll gain more listeners for people to listen to it. Now Now we're having trouble because since we're filming it like this, apparently, there's certain some people are having trouble hearing it on Apple. People are having trouble. Well, great. Well, I'm glad I fucking did this to send people. So now people are writing in, you fucking fuck. I used to be able to hear your thing. So they can get it there. And if you don't hear, listen to the first 35 if you don't, because they're all pretty up to date. Nothing has changed. I can fucking tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much yelling about the same thing in a different way.
Yeah, I've been listening to them, man. I think I listened to your. Didn't you used to do it in the bathroom at a certain point? I'm gonna cut that out if that's inappropriate.
No, I didn't. But I did one. I did no.
You were in another, or not the bath, but you were in another room. I remember you ranting about them making you change rooms at one point.
Yes.
And yeah, that fucking got me because I literally started watching and then I was like, oh, he's in a different room. And without right after I thought that, you were just ranting about being in another room. It was beautiful.
And a lot of the stuff that you'll see, I was on the road, so I'm in a lot of different hotel rooms.
Yes.
It was quite exciting. Oh, there's a whole new flavor to the show.
Yeah. Well, I like it. I like this studio. I mean, that's your parents in the background, right? That's a beautiful picture.
Mom turns 103 on September 8th.
Wow. Congratulations. That's amazing. Happy birthday to your mom, dude. That's incredible. Yeah. My mom just turned, it was her birthday of the 62. She's going to hate me for saying her age on the air.
That wasn't as accomplished as 103.
No, it wasn't, but I didn't know what to say. I was like, hey, I also have people I know with birthdays. I got a mom. No, that's a beautiful photo, though. I love when you post the Instagram post of you visiting your mom and stuff like that. And I know your dad just passed. I'm sorry to hear that. And but yeah, that was always cool, man. I like the visitations that you guys have together. It's pretty sweet.
Thanks.
So do you remember like everybody's got their comedy class that they kind of came up with? Was there a group of comics that you hung out with that were like around the time that you were coming up, and you still keep in touch?
I mean, the guys that I was working with, because my hanging out was, I was always running around like a maniac because I was trying to catch up because I didn't really start. I really made the transition to comedy when I was like 40.
Okay.
So,
but
it was Mario Cantone and
nice.
Dennis Leary was in the first time I performed. It was Mario Cantone, Dennis Leary, and Kevin Meaney.
Yes.
Kevin Meaney, Dennis Leary. The first time I saw him was doing his smoking.
Oh yeah.
It's your smoking bit. I had a smoking bit.
Nice.
And it was the first time I worked in a club. Every place else that I worked, I was totally outside. I did not work clubs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I worked a little, but not much. And if it was like ye old Triple In, and it was really, all of them were off. I didn't work any of those mainstream rooms. They asked me to play there. I went in. I'm looking at him doing that smoking bit, and I go, well, that's the end of my smoking bit. I can't do shit. So I dropped that. I learned a lot from them. I learned a lot from Kevin, and I mean, just from, really, they were all really already had really great chops. So, I mean, I picked up, because at that point, it was just a matter of, okay, how do I make the transition from being what I was doing, which was kind of easy because I was kind of an outlier. I was kind of doing it in other spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I take it? What do you do in another space? Because everybody was, they always go the alternative comedy. But fuck you, comedy's comedy. So, but I was doing it in alternative spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I take it and put it into those mainstream spaces? And those guys were big help in terms of that. And then, then I was Colin and Jim Norton, and the list was David Tell.
Oh, nice. He's
they were all rolling along. Jim Gaffigan was kind of breaking into the city at that point when I was kind of starting out in the clubs. There's a bunch more that I could probably think of, but we don't have a week and a half, do we? I don't have enough in the fridge to get through the show. They dropped dead. They all dropped dead. This was it. It was a great show.
This is Dystopia, dude. So
by Wednesday, by Wednesday, their tongues were protruding, and they were having trouble breathing.
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna ask you one more question. We ask this to everybody on the show. If you could go back in time, talk to your younger self, give yourself one piece of advice that would help you now, do you know what it would be?
Probably. I don't really know. It's funny. I was really lucky in that all of those transitions. I did what I wanted to do.
Nice.
So it really helped. I mean, I debate a lot, especially during the pandemic. And I had a lot of time to really re-examine every stinking moment of my life.
Right.
And the only thing that I might have done was, but I don't think I could have, that would have been different would be, there are two things. One would be, I could have moved to Los Angeles rather than stay in New York, but I just couldn't. I never could get over that hump of like, you people are out of your fucking minds.
Yep.
Yeah. And I just didn't. I never felt comfortable there. Yeah. Two, the other thing I would tell my younger self, probably this is the life lesson. Don't insult, or even if you think you're smarter than the person you're talking to, and that person is someone that you're talking to in order to either get your play read or to do a performance or to do something working for them. Don't insult them.
Right.
You know, don't get angry. Seriously, and that's the main thing. You can't. You don't know. You can. I burned some bridges because I just. I burned them, but in a way, part of me isn't bothered by it because I dealt with some people. It was like, I had more of a serious education in terms of certain things than you did, and I have to sit here and listen to your fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
So, I get it. You know what you have to do? You have to sit there and listen to their fucking bullshit because you're not going to change them, and just kind of smile. Yep, okay, and then, hope that you get to work with them. The other thing that I would have done, would have said, I had a pilot that Mark Lynn Baker directed and that Jay Tarsis and Richard Dresser wrote.
Oh, nice.
And it was called Harvey Burger Salesman, and it was way ahead of its time. And it was so ahead of its time, it had no audience. It really, literally was like 25 years ago. Nobody was doing this.
Right.
I had to do it again, and even they agreed we would have had an audience, and it probably would have at least gotten on the air.
Wow.
Because it was funny.
Yeah, I would.
And another cast that was off the charts. Every one of them kind of went on to do stuff.
Did they? Is it anywhere to be seen? Is there like a pilot episode or something like that?
There was one pilot that was done, and you
can't get it.
I can get it to you for $3 million.
I will raise this money
if you can get a GoFundMe page.
I'll just get. Listen, you know what? For you, I'll get into crypto.
It will end up.
That'll be my excuse.
I know it'll end up. It'll be. It's going to be in the media library at the University of North Carolina, where I went to school. That's where it is. Right
now. Nice, sweet, yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you so much. So much. By the way, that burning bridges thing hit me kind of hard.
I feel like that advice was straight for John. You don't know how many times we've had this conversation. That John's one of his best sayings is, "I can burn bridges. I know how to swim," and I'm always like. Take it back a little bit.
I'm like, I can swim. I'll burn a bridge. I'm like, not a good idea.
It's not.
No.
It's not worth it. They're not worth it. It's not like you're going to teach them anything.
Right. You're absolutely right.
And the other thing is what's more important in the end is just be true to what it is you want to do.
Yeah.
You don't need to make them a part of it. Fuck them.
Right. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for doing this, dude. I'm like,
I got
biggest
just
fan,
one more.
Bobby.
Where
Oh,
can
go
we
for it.
catch the
Oh.
Better Everyday tour? I just want to let everybody know before you leave us. Where are
Yeah.
you coming up to next?
I'm going to be in Cleveland at Hilarities. That's the one that I've held on
Oh,
to, which is
love
like
that
September 17th or 18th. You can
Yeah.
see that on my website, has all of the dates.
Absolutely. We'll push everybody.
And then
right
I'll be October 1st. I'm in Frederick, Maryland, and I think it's October 2nd. I'm in Montclair.
Oh,
Both are
nice.
the Performing Arts Center there.
Oh, sweet. All right, cool, man. Yeah, I'll come to see you in Montclair. That's awesome.
Yeah. You know, if we're still standing.
Yeah.
I
hear you.
You know, if they haven't arrested us.
Right. Oh man. Well, seriously, thank you so much. I hope you come back on again soon.
I will. You know, not a problem. We'll do it down the road. It was a pleasure, really. I'm glad we did it, and thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
Us too. Thank you for coming out with us tonight.
Yeah, no sweat. Thanks for spending Sunday with me, because I know how important these holy days are to you.
Yeah, you can tell, right?
I can.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I forget how to do this or whatever.
I'm glad you didn't wear that giant crucifix. So
it's only because you look like Jesus, John.
It's underneath in the yeah, I know. I've risen for this event. Thanks so much, man. I'll talk to you soon. Yep.
Take care. Have a great one.
Bye-bye.
Dystopia tonight.